Minasa, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'd like to thank you all for coming over today. I guess a lot of people, not only from Osaka, but from Nagoya and further even from Ibaraki. Alhamdulillah, may Allah make this a beneficial event. I'd like to, being a Muslim in Japan is not the easiest of things compared to wherever we come from. But inherently, as a Muslim, we are not only supposed to believe in Allah, but also convey the message that we have received to others. And in that regard, I think today's event might be very beneficial to all of us. I'd like to introduce you all to Brother Lim from Malaysia. He has come over for a couple of days to teach us and share his experiences from Malaysia in doing dawah to others. And unlike us, who a lot of us are born Muslims, he wasn't so. He received the message much later in life, and he has the experience of both sides of the world to teach us and convey to us. So inshallah, Brother Lim, inshallah. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How's everyone doing? Alhamdulillah. First of all, I would like to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving me this opportunity to share a little bit of my knowledge and my thoughts with every one of you here. Today's topic we'll discuss about, the first topic we will discuss about da'wah, the importance of da'wah. Alright, but before we start, can I just introduce you briefly about myself first? Is it okay? Okay, number one, I'm a Malaysian, I'm not a Japanese. So Japanese talk to me Japanese language, I got problem. So I'm from Malaysia. My name is Lim Jooi. Lim Jooi is my Chinese name. Okay, it's before Islam. After I reverted to Islam, I retained my Chinese name as my Muslim name. So my Islamic name is Lim Jooi. I know many of us here are not used to it, right? Your name must sound like an Arabic name or sounds like an Indian name only, Pakistani's name. But according to my studies, my research, I discovered that Islamic name is a name which has good meaning. Not necessarily it must be in Arabic language, it can be in any languages as long as the meaning is good. If you were to look at the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, look at the scenario of the time of the Prophet, we have many companions embrace Islam. But many of them are not from Arab. They are actually non-Arab. Okay? Generally, when they embrace Islam, our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't ask them to change their name. Most of them retained their name. For example, Salman al-Farisi, is he an Arab or he's Persian? He's Persian. He's not an Arab. He retained his name. Bilal bin Rabah. Bilal, is it an Arab or African? He's an African from Ethiopia. He retained African names. Radalin, is it an Arab or Malaysian? Okay, so this is the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad to retain your name as long as the meaning is good. So I didn't change my names. Now, what is the meaning of my name? Probably you would like to know. Okay, Lim is not my name. Lim is my family name. You know Michael Jackson? Jackson is his family name. Okay, Janet Jackson, Jermaine Jackson. Jackson is family name. Lim is my family name. It's not my name. Jooi, my second name, is generation name. If you know my family trees, you will know. If you understand it, you will know that I'm 27th generation in Lim family. Sun is my name. Lim Jooi Sun means the Sun victory. So this is the meaning of my name. Is it Islamic? So generally people will call me Brother Lim. So in this world, there's only one Brother Lim. The rest are imitation. Okay, so Alhamdulillah, I'm so grateful to be here And I really like the country. It's always in my mind is the cleanest country in the world. It's very clean. And the only thing that is, for me, it looks very weird for me is that the main road hardly have car. In my country, in the road hardly have room for car. So it's occupied with many cars. So alhamdulillah, I think I like many of the culture into that. Mashallah, it's very good. Okay, now the first topic that we're going to discuss about the importance of da'wah. Okay, how many of you here do not understand the word da'wah? You understand? Okay, let's try again. Just want to make sure that all of you are ready. If I were to ask you, if you're a man, lift up your hand. Then when I ask, if you're a man, please lift up your hand. Even though you have beard. If you think that you're not a man, you don't have to force yourself to lift up your hand. Leave it, all right? If I say, women, lift up your hand, even though you're putting hijab, if you think that you're not a woman, you don't have to lift up your hand. So if man, you didn't lift up your hand, women also didn't lift up your hand, then you fall into the category of LGBTAZW. Okay. Now, are you okay with the word da'wah? Okay, how many of you think that da'wah is compulsory? Do you think da'wah is compulsory or it's not compulsory? Okay, if you don't answer me means da'wah is not compulsory. Let's try again. Is da'wah compulsory or not? Yes. Good. See, when you say from your mouth is da'wah is compulsory, not necessarily your heart is uncompulsory. Do you agree with me? You don't agree? Let's try. Pray 5 times a day. Our daily prayer, 5 times a day. Is it wajib? Is it compulsory? Okay, you can pray, but you purposely neglect it. Small sin or big sin? Big sin. Okay, very good. Fast during the month of Ramadan. Is it compulsory? Yeah, for those who can fast, but purposely neglect it. Small sin or big sin? Da'wah to non-Muslim. Is it wajib? Is it compulsory? Up to today, I believe all of us can do da'wah to non-Muslim. How many of us have neglected da'wah? So we accumulate small sin or big sin? You see, when we say it's wajib, when we say it's compulsory, not necessarily inside here is compulsory. Not necessary. You know, when people fall in love, young people, they just got married. Usually the husband will tell the wife, I can't live without you. This is a stronger statement that the women like to listen. Even though that she knows that the man sometimes is not that sincere, but she just like to listen to that. Right? I can't live without you. Suddenly the wife passed away because of COVID-19. You think the husband go to the grave? You know what the husband will say to the wife? I can't live without you. Or he will say, what to do? Life has to go on. You look for somebody else, right? So sometimes what we say from our mouth is different from our heart, actually. All right? So all of you agree da'wah is compulsory? Okay, what's the meaning of da'wah in Arabic language? Literally, da'wah means what? To invite, to convey, to call upon. That's the meaning of da'wah, literally. But in the context of Islam, what is the meaning of da'wah? To strive in conveying the message of Islam. In other words, da'wah means conveying the message of Islam to who? To the non-Muslim, because we are inviting them. Okay? Conveying the message of Islam to the non-Muslim, meanwhile, we invite them. Let's embrace Islam. Let's accept Islam. We invite them. So that's the meaning of da'wah. So I prefer to use the word, I'm more comfortable when I use the word. When I use the word da'wah, means referring to the non-Muslim. But if the activity among we Muslims like today, we are all Muslim here, the activity today, actually the correct terminology is called Islam. Islam means what? To correct, to improve, to fix, to repair. That's the meaning of Islam. So I prefer to use Islam when we deal with the Muslim. But unfortunately, most of the activity that we have in the Islamic world, I say generally, not all, okay, majority of the activity actually is da'wah or Islam. It's Islam, but we always label it as da'wah, as if like we already involved in da'wah. Okay, the main purpose of today is that I prefer to separate these two words. Separate these two words. But before I go into that, is there anything wrong when we say da'wah among the Muslim? There's nothing wrong. Da'wah to non-Muslim, da'wah among the Muslim, no problem. External da'wah, internal da'wah, no problem. But my main purpose is, okay, I would like to separate these two words so that all of us here, probably the first time in our life, we have the opportunity to evaluate ourselves. To evaluate ourselves. Up to today, how many percent, how many da'wah that have we done? How many Islah that, we actively involve? Okay, for example, let's say I give all of you, okay, for you a chance to rate yourself from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many marks do you give to yourself? How do you rate yourself? Wow, we have 2. Any more? Hello? Wow, 3, mashallah. Okay, alhamdulillah. Don't worry about that. This is not an exam for you. It's just for us to be able to look at ourselves, to be able to evaluate ourselves up to this level. I'm already a Muslim for how many years? Okay, have I seriously involved in giving da'wah to non-Muslim? Okay, so it's meant for us is for us to evaluate. Now, when we talk about da'wah, okay, when we talk about da'wah, I believe that many of us here understand the meaning of da'wah, but whether we already started or not. Now, when we talk about da'wah, okay, now Islam is the universal religion. Can you agree? It's not meant for the Arabs, it's not meant for the Indian or the Indonesian or the Malaysian. It's meant for every human being on earth. We all agree? But the problem is, who is the one who was supposed to convey the message to the rest? Who's the one? You remember the Prophet Muhammad SAW during his time? His last sermon was attended by not less than 110,000 of the companions. If you read the hadith, it's a very long hadith, and the Prophet Muhammad SAW asked the companion, have I delivered the message to you? Have I delivered the message of Islam to all of you? They say, yeah, yes, Prophet Muhammad SAW. They say, yeah, Muhammad. They agree. The Prophet asked 3 times, they say, yeah, Muhammad SAW. What did the Prophet say after that? The Prophet instructed them, go and deliver the message for those who are not here. Go and deliver the message. Do the companion understood the message? What is the proof? You know, from the 110,000 companion, only left 10,000 companion. Their grave is in the land of Arab. More than 100,000 of the companion, their grave is outside Arab. After that sermon, many of the companion, okay, will just move away from that place and started to leave Arab, go and deliver the message. Some of them, they just go home and take some of the valuable things and bring the wife and children. They started to move out from Arabs, go and deliver the message. With this spirit, Islam reached every angle of the world, every part of the world. You go to whichever country in the world, you'll find there's Islam there, right? And simply because of this is the spirit of the companions. They understood the instruction of the Prophet Muhammad SAW, and they went to deliver the message. Unfortunately, so I give example, my country, Islam came to Malaysia. Islam started to change, the shape of Islam started to change. Not change. Islam no longer a religion of da'wah. Islam is just a religion of ibadah. It's just ritual, you pray, you fast, you give zakat, you perform your hajj, that is Islam. So the da'wah activity stopped. And in most countries, happened in same thing, am I right? But in fact, this is one of the most important things. Can we just imagine if our beloved Prophet Muhammad SAW were to be with us today now, for example. How many of you here you think you will follow what the Prophet asked you to do? You think the Prophet will do da'wah? You think he will give da'wah to the Muslim? Do you think he will give da'wah to the Muslim? How many of you here, if the Prophet were to be with us now, you think that you would like to follow him? What? I'm not talking to the right crowd. You see, when I ask people, most of them say, no, I will definitely want to follow the Prophet. Wow. But the problem is, our Prophet already passed away. Only left his message. But the Prophet, the message of the Prophet Muhammad, he instructed us to deliver the message. Even though he's not around, but his message is still around. But how many people will take up the challenge that the Prophet instructed them to deliver the message? Look at the companions, more than 100,000 of them went out of Arab land to deliver the message. If the companion has the same attitude like us Muslims, we keep the Islam for ourselves, we didn't go and deliver the message, and believe me, Islam will die in Arab land. It will never spread throughout the world. Now, I didn't ask you all to go out of Japan. I just want you to focus, deliver the message in Japan. You know, in Japan, up to this year, 2023, you have about 123,000 population. 123 million, not thousand. 123 million population. You know how many percent Muslim? It's only 0.15 Muslim. So less than 300 million. But most of them are not Japanese. If you include foreign or a little bit of Japanese, you will only get more than 50,000. Very few. Whereas compared to Christian in this country, they already got 1.5%. For us, it's 0.15. Maybe I'll give you an example of my country. In my country, they talk about 2010. Okay, the survey, 2010, 2010. In Malaysia, we have 30 million population. And we have 60% of the population are Muslim. 60%, which means 18 million. Out of this 30 million, less than 7 million are Chinese in Malaysia. Okay? Now, you know, from the 7 million Chinese in Malaysia, you know how many people embrace Islam? Malaysia, Islamic country. You know how many people embrace Islam? 42,000. You know how many people embrace Christianity? 700,000. Which means one person embraces Islam. In my country, Chinese, 16 Chinese will embrace Christianity. We lost 16-1. You know 16-1? How do you feel when you look at a statistic like this? We lost 16-1. Can you imagine if a football team, if I'm coaching a team and my team lost 16-1, do you think that this club will still continue to take me as a manager? You'll remove me immediately. And we lost 16-1 is one issue in Islamic country. The second issue, the third one, we are majority. They are a super minority. And we lost 16-1 in our country, Muslim country, and we are majority, 18 million Muslim. And the worst thing is, truth, we lost to falsehood. Tawheed, we lost to shirk. And it's happened everywhere. So, this is a statistic. Now we agree Islam is a universal religion. Therefore, we suppose in Japan, I believe that if we started to deliver the message, because the Japanese way of life, in many aspects, is very Islamic. We'll come to that later. You know, the Quran was revealed to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam 1,400 years ago. What is the main objective Quran was revealed? What is the purpose of Quran was revealed to him? What is the main objective? One of the main objectives is to guide mankind come out from darkness to light. This is mentioned in the Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah chapter number 2, verse 185, and Surah Ibrahim chapter number 40, verse 1, and verse 152. So Quran was revealed in the month of Ramadan. One of the main objectives is to guide mankind out of darkness to light. What is the meaning of darkness to light? The Muslim, the non-Muslim, what's the difference? Say, oh, the Muslim. We guide mankind. Guide who? We guide non-Muslim actually from out of darkness. They are in the darkness now, right? The main purpose Quran was revealed is to guide darkness, non-Muslim out of darkness to light. The point here is, who are responsible to deliver the message? Whose duty is to deliver the message? My dear brothers and sisters, I'm really afraid that many of us here, we say we love Islam, we love the Prophet, but we do not follow the instruction of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If I were to ask all of you, do you love the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? You see, again I say, when your mouth say, your heart will be different. Can you imagine this? Okay, let's discuss. You know, the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we have a lot of, we had three group of people actually. One is the Munafiq. You know, the head of the Munafiq, Abdullah bin Ubay. Okay? He's always with the Prophet. Wherever the Prophet go, he will accompany him. When the Prophet become an Imam, he become Ma'mum, he stand at the back. But the question here is, do you think that he loved the Prophet or he hate the Prophet? He hate the Prophet. So we have one group of people that follow the Prophet, but he didn't love the Prophet. And we have second group of people. You know, the one who brought the Prophet, who guided the Prophet, who take care of the Prophet. Who is the one? His uncle, right? What is his name? Abu Talib. So you think that Abu Talib loved the Prophet? He loved the Prophet more or we love more? He loved the Prophet more. But the question here is, did he follow the Prophet when the Prophet invited him to embrace Islam, asked him to accept Islam? He didn't accept it, right? So now we have second group of people. Love the Prophet but doesn't follow the Prophet. We have third group of people, the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Do they love the Prophet? Do they follow the instructions of the Prophet? So all of us here now, which category you think you fall in? 1, 2, or 3? If you are 3, you will do da'wah every day. You will strike and deliver the message. When we say we will follow the Prophet, this is what you say. You look at our brother here. We have 2 very important brothers here. You look at them, the way they look at their motivation. Look at the way they have the passion of conveying the message. Okay, and we are looking for people like this who want to deliver the message in Japan, to make sure that all the Japanese people have opportunity to know about Islam. And looking all of you here, it looks very serious. Relax. And I believe that all of you here, you have the heart, you want to deliver the message. Am I right? True? But the question here is, why we have yet to start? Why we are so slow to start the da'wah work? You see, to start something, you need to have some motivation. For me, personally, there are many verses in the Quran that motivate me. Okay, one of the verses of the Quran is mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse 140 as well as 159. And Allah said, the meaning of the ayat, Allah said, who is more unjust than those who conceal the testimony they receive from Allah, and Allah is not unmindful of what they do. Allah is asking who is more unjust for those who concealing the message from the non-Muslim. In another verse, Allah will curse those people who conceal the truth. Is it very heavy? Relax. It's not talking about us. It's talking about the Jew and the Christian previously. Many of them, they know the truth, but they're hiding the truth. They cover the truth. They conceal the truth. Or they even reject the truth. They conceal. Allah is referring to this group. Alhamdulillah. It's not talking about us. But do you agree with me if I say Allah is most just? Yes. If Allah is most just, they conceal the truth, Allah curse them. We conceal the truth, do you think Allah will curse us as well? Hello? So this is one of the motivation that make me have no choice that I have to deliver the message. Otherwise, I'll be cursed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The one that motivated me to do the work, when I read the verse hadith in Sahih Bukhari, the hadith talk about, a person, you can test the sweetness of iman when you have these three criteria. Number 1, you love Allah and Rasul more than anything else in this world. Do you have this criteria? Hello? Love Allah and Rasul more than anything else in this world? Number 2, you love mankind because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 3, and you hate to fall into kufr. Only when you have these 3 criteria, okay, then you will taste the sweetness of iman. I won't discuss about the first and the last. I'll discuss about the second one. Love mankind because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you love mankind because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You see, when you don't have the love, you won't give da'wah. Believe me. You say what you say compulsory, you say it is wajib, but because you're afraid people say that your akidah is not right, therefore it's wajib. Okay? Now, what will happen? When I say you need to have the love, if I were to ask you, here is Osaka. If I ask you to travel Osaka to Tokyo, is it very far? I do not know the distance. Very far. But you have speed train now, right? Bullet train. So it's only 1 hour, right? So every day, after your Fajr prayer, can you take a train to Tokyo to have some nice breakfast, a very good breakfast. You know, they have this very nice coffee and cheesecake. Excellent, the best in the world. Will you travel every day to Tokyo to have your breakfast and come back here before you go to work? What do you think? You think it's a stupid thing to do? You know? But if your loved one is there, someone that you love, okay, or your girlfriend is there, okay, do you think you go to Tokyo to have breakfast is wasting time?
Yes.
You say yes. Do you think that you waste your time, waste your money, waste the energy? No, you're someone you love. For you to travel to Tokyo is nothing. Because when you're in love, believe me, people who fall in love, they won't give excuse because they have love. Right? Similarly, in Islam, if we don't have love towards non-Muslim, okay, number one, after your prayer, you won't make dua to the non-Muslim. You won't even read your non-Muslim name, your neighbors, the people that you know. You won't read their name and ask Allah to give guidance to them. If you don't have love, your colleague, the non-Muslim, you won't even give da'wah. Am I right? But you don't have love. So love comes first. So for me, it's very important that the hadith said, you must love mankind because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, that is one of the motivations that motivated me that I want to fulfill this criteria because I want to enjoy or taste the sweetness of Iman. And many of us here, we want to give da'wah. We will always give excuse. I'm not an ustad. I'm not a scholar. I do not take up Islamic study before. I'm just an ordinary Muslim. You will give all kinds of excuses. I'm afraid to talk about Islam. True? How many of you have such an excuse? We always use this as excuses. Actually, in Islam, giving da'wah, okay, if you know the formula, you won't give this excuse. All right, if you know the formula, okay? So let me give you the formula first. Number one, when you talk about give da'wah or to do da'wah, in Islam, you give da'wah or do da'wah according to your situation. And do your best according to what you can. This is da'wah. I'm not asking you to talk like Sheikh Ahmad Didat. I'm not asking you to talk like Zakir Naik. No, you don't have to be a public speaker. You just do da'wah according to what you can, according to your situation, and do your best. This is a formula. And if you're afraid, it's good news. If you are new to start to do da'wah, you're not afraid, maybe something wrong somewhere. You don't have much knowledge, you don't have the skill, you don't know the technique, but you're not afraid. There's some problem somewhere. But you can overcome that issue very easily. What do you need to do? Attending courses, attending training, go for on-the-job training. Sit next to you, the person that you give that one, always be with him. See how he delivered the message right now and discuss, do postmortem. And believe me, if you were to be with him for 20 or 30 times, when he gives da'wah to non-Muslim, after that, do you think that you have some idea now how to give da'wah? And if you listen how he addressed, how he answered the question, do you think you have an idea how to reply now? This is what you do. And I love the company of the Prophet Muhammad SAW because you know why? They never give excuse. They never say, oh Prophet, I'm afraid, man. How, man? I don't even know the language. You asked me to go out of Arab. Did they give any excuse? No, they didn't give such excuses. And if you want to be successful in your da'wah, you must understand one thing. Every human being, or everyone in Japan here, the non-Muslim, they have certain belief, certain program in their mind, certain things that they hold on in their life. But in order for you to give da'wah to them, okay, meaning that in order for you to reprogram them, your program has to be very strong. Your technique, your methodology, your skill of da'wah has to be very good. Then only you can reprogram them. Otherwise, your da'wah will not be successful. So you need to learn the technique. We have the best product. Agree? The Quran. But we also have one of the lousiest salesmen in the world. The Muslim, normally we don't like to go for training. We don't like to go and learn properly and learn the proper skill to be professional. No, we just want to give da'wah. How to be successful if we don't know this, if we don't learn the skill, the technique? For example, let's say someone will invite you, come up here. Let's say this is the non-Muslim program. Somebody invite you, come up here and speak 10 minutes about Islam to us. If some non-Muslim asks you to speak in front of non-Muslim, talk about 10 minutes about Islam. Do you know what to talk? Do you know what to talk, what not to talk? Do you have any idea now? This is our problem. The Muslims are not prepared. Not prepared. And the best thing is we have no plan to be prepared. If you know that you're shortcoming now, you don't know about this, you're sure, you have some weaknesses about this, go for courses. Go and look for the expert to learn. Spend some time. Learn all the skill, learn all the knowledge. Come back and train the people here. This is a problem. And how many of us here know how to present Islam to non-Muslims? Do you know what a non-Muslim, what kind of example to give so that you can convince them to Islam? We are not prepared. Best product, lousier salesman. Back in my country, we lost 16-1. Now you tell me, which problem is it? Islam have problem or the Muslim have problem? Which one? Up to today in Japan, we only 0.15. La ilaha illallah. You know why? Because we are focused on ibadah. It means the Muslim majority focus on ibadah. And they have fardu kifayah, they have some duty that they need to deliver the message, but they always neglect it. And this is our problem. Okay, now, I think you need some motivation, right? If I were to ask all of you here, each one of you, I don't know, Japanese money, yen. Let's say I ask you to take out 100,000 yen. How much is 100,000 yen? You change the US dollar? 3,000. Very cheap. Okay, each one of you give me 100,000 yen. Brother Lim will give it to this Islamic center to use it for da'wah. Will you take out 100,000 yen? Tell me frankly, will you? No. Okay, I like you, very sincere, very good. Now what I want to say is something to you is that, can you imagine if Allah paid cash? Meaning that you take out 100,000 yen here, after the program you go home, the angels holding a tray, because the Quran says in Surah Al-Baqarah chapter 2 verse 261, Allah said that Allah will give you 700 times reward, which means 100,000 multiplied by 700 times. How much do you get? Somebody help me. Your mathematics should be very good, right? 7 million? 70 million. Wow. So now, if you give 100,000 yen now, you go home, you will get how many? 70 million. Something like that? 70 million yen. Will you take up 100,000 now? No. Will you? Everybody say yes. Alhamdulillah. But Allah said Allah pay you later. Just not pay cash, right? When Allah said pay later, will you take out the money now? Hello? And this is our problem. You see, you look at the companion of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Sayyidina Abu Bakr, radiallahu anhu. He took out all his wealth for Islam. All. Many of the companions, even Umar, radiallahu anhu, he took up more, but he didn't give all. He gave more. What I'm trying to say is that sometimes we love the worldly things so much that we do not love our Almighty God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet. We didn't love the religion. If you love the religion, this dunya is actually for you to prepare yourself for the hereafter. If you strike in the cause of Allah, let me give you one idea. One idea. I embraced Islam 27 years ago. The one who did da'wah to me is a Haji. Is a Muslim guy, old man. He's a martial artist actually. He is the one who gave da'wah to me. And ever since I embraced Islam, I give da'wah, I give training all over the world. Do you know how much reward that he will receive? Sorry, I don't want to give the figure about all this, about the reversion and the rest. I just want to give an idea that, can you imagine that if you deliver the message, the person embraces Islam, he practiced the religion, he guided his family, he become a Dai'e, he delivered, he's trying to spread the message. And believe me, man, this is the real rewards that you're going to get in the hereafter. And this will save us from hellfire. My dear brother and sister, I know if I keep talking like this, it will never change anything. Let me give you a story. After this, we're going to have dialogue. You're going to ask question, I'm going to answer you, okay? Or you can choose the other way around. I ask you question, you answer me. So you have two ways, you can choose. Now let me give you a story first. We end this discussion first, and we start to have a dialogue first. Okay? Now the story is about a king. And this king is very powerful, very successful. Okay? Unfortunately, he didn't have a son. To inherit his throne, he don't have a son. When he get old, he make a will. Because he had to choose one of the citizens of the country to become the king, to replace him. He gives certain rules. Rule number one, you have to be citizen of the country. Rule number two, you can only become the king for one term only, 5 years. Rule number three, after 5 years, you finish your term, they will put you in an island. And this island is full with animals. Do you understand this? It's just like an open zoo. Okay? So after the king passed away, the palace tell the public, whosoever wants to be a king, read this agreement first. If you agree, come forward, we appoint you as a king. But only you must be the citizen of the country, only one term. After you finish one term, we will put you in this island. Okay, this island full with animals. So one guy lifted up his hand. So he's appointed as a king. Wow. When he became a king, he enjoyed his life. You know, when you become a king, people serve you. People provide things for you. You have many wives. What else? Party, drinking, enjoying. Okay? For 5 years, and he finished his term. Now, after 5 years, they have to send him, take a boat, send him to this island, and leave it on island there. And you can only hear his voice 3 seconds only. He asked for help. Help me, help me, help. That's it. I don't know what happened. Can you imagine? So the second guy, he found his head. So he was appointed as a king. So what he did, this guy worse than the first guy. Drinking, womanizing, oppress the people, drugs, karaoke, every day, drinking. Okay? After 5 years, again, they will send him to the island. But alhamdulillah, when they put this king in the island, they can hear his voice for 1 minute. Maybe he can run very fast. So the third guy, only 20 years old, he lifted up his hand. He wanted to be a king. Before that, the public say, hey, boy, don't be stupid, man. If you choose to become a king, you only have 5 years to live. After that, you're finished. You can live until old age. Why you want to become a king? He said, I don't care. I would like to become a king. So they appoint him as a king. You know what he did for the first year? He sent many hunters to this island to hunt all the animals. The second year, he sent a lot of contractors to make landscape, road, make it nicely, and continue. The next year, he sent a lot of farmers, he sent a lot of contractors to do all kind of buildings, all kind of hospital, Disneyland, what else? Palace, whatever you want. He built everything there. Fourth year, he sent 90% of his staff in the palace to live in this island, to go take care of the island. Okay? The final year, he sent all his wealth to the island. Once he finished his term, they sent him to the island. Alhamdulillah. When he reached the island, you know what happened to him? He became a king again. What's the moral of the story here? What's the moral of the story? The first two kings, they never think about their future. They just enjoy themselves in this world. Am I right? The third one, everything that he do, he planned for his future. After I finish my term here, what will happen to me? How many of us here who practice Islam is just like the first two kings? How many of us here, we do, whatever we do, we always think about our akhirat. After we die, what happened? We think about our future. How many of us plan for our future? I hope this story can give us a reminder for us. Always, whatever we do, everything that we do because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, just like the song, everything I do it for you. Not for a girlfriend, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this guy, the third king, he really planned everything that he do is planned for his future. Okay, now I would like to end here just a brief discussion about the importance of da'wah. Right, now we like to open for dialogue. You ask question, Bradley will answer. Okay, so any one of you like to ask questions? Okay, please, bro. Hafiz. Okay.
Years.
8 years. Wow.
Yeah, I used to study here now.
Okay.
So my question is, I've been hanging out with a lot of the since my university period. In Japan, religion is really taboo stuff because, well, from my understanding, like the way they were God, the emperor is kind of like God. So when it's all ends, Japan considered religion is really bad thing because of the God, because they thought the emperor as the God, and then what happens and they bombed by the Americans, stuff like that. And then in the past, there's this case where like Buddhist section, they like what is it? Poisonous gas they release it because of their teaching something, and also the family ex prime minister. So they just really tough stuff. So whenever I open up, try to like naturally goes into religion, it's the Muslim will become really awkward.
All right.
So how do you like cope with that?
How to cope with that? How to talk religion with the Japanese people here?
I mean, like if they came to the Dawah center, then it's okay. But you know, for the
If you do that, what outside?
yeah, like we was with my friends, and then we naturally try to go into that. So how about you? Because suddenly it becomes open.
All right. What you need to do is don't talk about religion. Do da'wah. You don't have to talk about religion. You need to do is to talk about knowledge. Our problem is the moment you talk about religion, many people have different perception about religion. Some of them believe that all this fight, war happened because of religion. Or some a lot of funny thing because of religion. True? Now, don't talk about religion. Talk about knowledge. Why? Because you see, I talk to you about religion means what? I want to show that I'm right, you are wrong. I have the truth, yours is falsehood. Do you think that the non-Muslim are comfortable? Nobody like it, right? So don't talk about religion. Talk about knowledge. For example, okay, I'm not sure about the Japanese here. I just assume that maybe many of them are not sure that whether God exists or not here in Japan. Okay, maybe. Now, what you need to do is, you don't talk about religion. You talk to them about, hey, you know, the scientist has come to a level and discover something that is very useful for us in the future. For example, you know, the greatest discovery by the modern scientists in the 20th century. You know what's the discovery by the modern scientists? They discovered that the universe that we're living in today is expanding steadily. And through this expansion, and a group of scientists, like for example, Stephen Hawking, in his book, The Brief History of Time, he do reverse studies. He used calculation and reversed the time, what will happen to the universe. And he discovered that the universe is shrinking, and the universe will shrink up to a point of singularity. Okay? Which means the scientists discover what? They discover that this universe that we're living in, there's a beginning for the universe. There's a beginning. Not beginning. Beginning. Right? That's the beginning of the universe. Now the question here is that since we already know there's a beginning, which means the universe is not exist by itself just like that. There's a process, right? There's a beginning. Now we have a lot of, sorry, this is not the thing you talk to them, I'm something that for you to know. We have some religion believe that the universe exists by itself. There is no such thing as beginning. Now, it already contradicts the established science today. That's number one. Now, what we want to discuss is that when the universe shrinks, it will come to a point of singularity. Now, all here we want to discuss is about this point of singularity. How can this point of singularity come to existence? I must not forget, this point of singularity, he is dependent on hundreds of amino acids. This point of singularity, he is dependent on amino acid, hundreds of amino acids. If he's dependent, now can this point of singularity create himself out of nothing? Can he create himself out of nothing? You cannot understand me? Okay, what is your age? 29. Okay. 30 years ago, you have yet to come to this world. The one exists is your mom and dad. True? Yeah. So your existence in this world is dependent of your mother and your father. True? Without your mother and father, you will never come to this world. True? Now, if you're dependent of your parents, can you create yourself? Can you give birth of yourself? You can't. So if this point of singularity is dependent on amino acid, can he create himself? Cannot. So number one, he cannot create himself. Now that's number one. Is he the creator of the universe? He even can't create himself. How can he create life? So he's not the creator of the universe. Then you tell me, what are the possibilities that this point of singularity can do? My question here is, how can this point of singularity come to existence? There's only one explanation. It probably comes from a supernatural power that created this point of singularity and it expanded. It took 14 billion years, which resulted in the universe that we have today. In other words, this supernatural power has created this point of singularity and it expanded and resulted in the universe that we have today. Wow. In other words, the possibility that this universe, exists, there must be a creator, according to the science. Don't talk about God, don't talk about Allah, just use creator or manufacturer or producer, doesn't matter. But don't talk anything sounds Islamic or leading to my religion or your religion. Use those terms. Now, because if this person study about this, if he continue to study about this, like you talk about this universe was created. You know, when the universe was created, it comes together with three important things. Many others, three important things. Number one, time, space, and mass. You know, when you study physics, everything in this universe is bounded by time, space, and mass. So the universe was created, come together with time, space, and mass. But the question here is, before the universe was created, do we have time, space, and mass? But does God exist? Means the true manufacturer, the true producer, the true creator, whatever name you want to give, okay, he is outside the flow of time, space, and mass. But the one, whichever bounded by time, space, and mass, they are creation. They can never be created anymore. Now, which God that you know that is not bounded by time, space, and mass? Give me a name. You know that majority God that people worship, majority gods that people worship are bounded by time, space, and mass. Indirectly, science telling us that these are creation. This cannot be created because it doesn't have the characteristic of the creator. So you can talk about the science things instead of talk about mine or yours. Use science to lead to what we want to say to them. Indirectly, you're proving to what? Prove that this universe was created, there is a creator. And one of the characteristics of the creator is he's not bounded by time, space, and mass. You can stop that. Let them think. Let them study. You know, the moment they started to do research, study, you will discover that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have this attribute, have this characteristic. Can you understand it? So these are the things that you can start, but it's nothing sensitive, right? So you can start with that as well. I need whiteboard. Do you have whiteboard for me? So that I can write something? If you have. Okay. Any other questions? Anybody want to ask questions? What about a sister? Any question from the sister side? Guys, any questions? Oh, thank you, bro. Thank you. Wow. In my country, we don't have such a small whiteboard. This is. Yeah, of course. Please.
The Japanese,
Yes.
they are really proud of their culture. I think we all do that. Especially given that right now, they look Islam and Muslim as really below them in terms of maybe their characters, especially hygiene. So they're really hygienic in the Japanese, and how well they keep their promise, their trade, their cost on time, and then they get worse. No matter worse, they little delay back, some will build some days. So how can we sell like Islam solves everything when they already think that what they have right now is already good? So much so that you can imagine that they will, like this Malaysian, when we were growing up, we were like, we want to study or something, but they don't really have the motivation. But the country is really safe, the food is good, really convenient and everything. So how can we sell Islam with that things?
Okay. You heard the question? Okay. How are we going to give that one to them? Number one, they are proud of their culture. In fact, I think every race will be proud of their own culture. But I believe that Japanese culture are very good culture. Okay? And in fact, it is Islamic culture. Many of it, not all. Many of it are Islamic culture. So if I want to know the Japanese guy, or if I know the person, I tell them that, whatever you do, mostly what you do in your daily life is the teaching of Islam. This is very Islamic. Sometimes you are more Muslim than a Muslim. That's why in Japan, we can see Islam, but we hardly see Muslims. True? And tell them this, acknowledge that what they do. For example, you work hard. Islam asks us to work hard to look for rizqi, right? Right. Number two, okay, you talk about cleanliness. They are very clean. The Japanese people, look at the town, it's very clean. All right? That is Islamic. This is what Islam teaches us, to be clean. Okay? That's why when we go to the toilet, what do? We have to wash ourselves, clean ourselves before we come out from the toilet. So what cleanliness? Tell them what you practice is very Islamic. This one is very Islamic. This one is another very Islamic, and so on. Continue to tell them this is very Islamic. You see, I like to watch Japanese movie, particularly samurai. You know samurai? Ninja? Huh? Samurai? I like, you know why? Because the men speak very well. When the men speak, will speak this way. But when the women talk, right? And this is good, man. Masculine and feminine. But in Islam, I don't like when women talk like a man, right? If a woman talk like this, how do you feel? Something wrong somewhere. So, if you want to give that word to them, acknowledge that what they did, this is what Islam teach. Okay? This is what Islam teach. This is what Islam teach. So you see, and sometimes, okay, or many a time, your culture, your practice is more Islamic than us, Muslims. No problem we tell them this. Okay? Yeah. So you see, sometimes, thank you. So this is one of the way that, I understand when you are successful, you're proud of your culture, you are rich, you're well-to-do, very difficult for you to follow someone that is below you. Can you understand this? Your level is below you. Very difficult for them to be attracted. Because they can't find anything that I can learn from you. Is it true? That's why for us, we Muslims, we have to be undo and unlearn. And relearn. Why? Because cleanliness, Islam teaches us. We're supposed to be more clean than the Japanese people. Because Islam encourages us to make sure that we are clean all the time. True? Islam wants us to be hardworking, to look for halal rezeki. What else? There are many things, right? Okay, so I noticed that the Japanese people live very long life. I heard or I read a documentary, something like that, right? And you see, when they like to drink tea, right? Actually, we look at our Muslim culture, we like to drink sweet things. That's not healthy, it's poison. We're supposed to drink drinks that without sugar. We take too much of simple carbohydrate that's bad for our health. Tell them, acknowledge that what they did is very good. MashaAllah is very good. And for you to become a Muslim, you just slight, small change only. Only your belief change and the rest, all you don't have to adjust many things. Just adjust small few things only. The rest all is easy because you know what? You already the way you live your life already very Islamic. So this is what we can say to people who have such a questions. How are we going to deal with these people? This is what my advice to you. Wallahu a'lam. Any more? Yes, sister.
I want to know how to explain Christian people. They don't God is exist. So you said like just now you said don't talk about religion. So how to explain to them?
How to explain to
Christianity.
just Christian?
Yeah.
Oh, just Christian.
Yeah.
Okay, because we do life. Okay, I give general statement, not explicit statement, because certain thing that is sensitive. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm telling you that as a Muslim, how we introduce Islam to the non-Muslim in general. Okay, I can answer you after this one. We stop the live, and then we can talk about the detail. Okay, one of the things that you can discuss with them is actually with the Christian is very easy. Very easy. It's too easy because we both religion have similar belief. You ask a Christian, do you believe in the Creator? They say yes. What is your opinion about this universe? They will tell you these are creation. Is this similar to we Muslim? We believe there's a Creator, and we believe the universe is a creation. Now we have those this similarity here, right? We both believe similar here. Now the next question you need to ask them is that, do you know how to differentiate who is the Creator, who are the creation? Do you know how to differentiate? Ask them. And believe me, most of them, they do not know how to differentiate. And you ask them, do you think it's important to be able to differentiate? Is there any possibility that we want to worship God, end of the day, we worship the creation instead of the creator? Is there any possibility? You just discuss with them. If you do not know how to differentiate, okay, for example, this brother, 29 years old, do you know how to differentiate men and women? Are you sure? Okay, is there any possibility that you want to marry a woman, end of the day you marry a man next to you? Now that is because if you do not know how to differentiate. But if you know how to differentiate, you know the characteristic of the woman, the characteristic of the man, you doesn't get confused, right? Now ask them, do you know the characteristic of creator and the characteristic of the creation? Do you know how to differentiate? Ask them. Believe me, they do not know. Why? If they know how to differentiate, they will not worship Jesus Christ. Why? Okay, let's try. Say this is creator, this is creation. Okay? You put the words ever living here. Right here. Let's say this is creator, this is creation. Right? We both believe, the Christian and Muslim believe the creator, and Christian and Muslim believe that there's creation, the universe is a creation. And the moment you put the word here, ever living.
He was standing.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Now, you ask them, who is ever living, the creator or the creation? What normally answer you will get? He will tell you, the creator is ever living. And you ask them, what about the creation? They said the creation is not ever living. And you ask them, can you give me some examples about the creation? What kind of creation that is not ever living? He will tell you human being. He will tell you animals. He will tell you the plants. And he will tell you all living things, none of them are ever living. Write it down everything. Then you ask them the second question. Beginning, ending. Ask them. Does the creator have beginning, ending? No, because he's ever living. What about the creation? Yes. Everyone has beginning, everyone born and is going to die. So now he can differentiate the two characteristics. The first one, the creator is ever living, no beginning, ending, but the creation, not ever living, has beginning, ending. Third one. Time, space, and mass. Is the creator have been bounded by time, space, and mass? It's not bounded by time. What about the creation? Yeah, they're all bounded by time, space, and mass. The fourth. I use the word, actually I can put independent, but I prefer to use the word sustenance, easy to understand. Okay? Sustenance. Okay? Now, does the creator have any sustenance? Sunlight, oxygen, food and drinks? He doesn't need it. What about the creation? He needs it. Last one. Rest and sleep. You think the creator need to rest and sleep? The creation. If you ask the Christian, believe me, they will give you the correct answer. They will agree that God is ever living, no beginning, ending. He's not bounded by time, space, and mass, and he doesn't need sustenance, and he doesn't rest and sleep. If you ask them, they will agree that this is a characteristic of God, this is the characteristic of the creation. Just discuss with them, they will agree with this. And you ask them now. See, because we have so many gods out there. Right? So many religions, so many gods, right? You ask them, can you give me a name? A god that people worship have these 5 characteristics. Just give me one name. Don't talk about Allah. Any other God that have these 5 characteristics, just give me a name. Can anyone ever give me? Who? Oh, some will say Buddha. Anybody else? Jesus, Krishna, Topekong. Are you sure? Whatever name you given to me just now. Okay, put it this way. All right. First, if I ask you, is there anyone that you know that have these 5 characteristics? Let's say put Brother Lim first, yeah? Okay, now the reason why I ask, give me a name that a God that people worship have these 5 characteristics. And most people will tell you no one. Cannot think of anyone. Because most of them are human beings. All human beings is not ever living. All human beings have beginning, ending. All human beings are bounded by time, space, and mass. All human beings need sustenance. All human beings need to rest. Therefore, if we were to give any name of a human being, then that person do not know how to differentiate what is ever living. Can you understand this? Now, when most of the people will say no. Nobody. No one. When they say no one means what? They are telling you that all the gods that people worship, none of them have these 5 godly characteristics. All of them fall into this category. When they say no one means what? In fact, indirectly, he already confessed La ilaha. He rejects all the gods out there. None of them have this godly characteristic. Okay, now if God created us, do you think that He will program us to know Him?
Yes.
Let's say, our brother here, he got children, handsome. So when your wife gives birth to a child, do you teach your child to call you, this is Papa or Daddy? This is Mama or Mommy, whatever. Will you do that? Of course, right? You won't ask, this is your Papa and that is your Mama. No such thing, right? So naturally, you will program your children to call you father, call your wife as a mother. When God created us, do you think that He will program us that to know that He is our creator? He sustained, He created everything. He sustained everything. He provides everything. God will program us. As is mentioned in Surah Rum, chapter 30, verse 30. In the Quran, Allah programmed us. That's why when I ask you this question, you answer correctly. It means what? It means that your conscience is still good, in good condition. You'll be able to differentiate the characteristic of creator and the creation. Is there any scripture in the world? Is there any scripture in the world tell you that this is the characteristic of God? You can't find it except in the Quran, in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 255. Okay? Now, this ayat, we call it a touchstone of theology. You understand the meaning touchstone? The yardstick, the touchstone of theology. Touchstone means if you have a piece of gold you would like to sell, you bring to the goldsmith shop without a machine. You will rub it on a kind of stone and look at the color, you will know that what is the grade of the gold. Okay? That's called touchstone. Now you want to know who is God, who is not God? Just put their name here. You will be able to know that whether they fall into the category of creation or creator. Okay? So this ayat is a touchstone of theology. You want to know who is God, who is not God? Let's try. Let's say we start with Prophet Muhammad first. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ever living? Therefore, if he's not ever living, he falls into the category of creation. Okay? Does it have beginning, ending? He was born 570 and he passed away 632. Therefore, he falls into the category of creation. You see, bounded by time, space, and mass. Yes. What is the proof? He lived this world up to the age of 63, am I right? Which means he is bounded by time, space, and mass. Does he need sustenance when he was alive? He needs sunlight, he needs oxygen, he needs to eat and drink. Therefore, he falls into the category of creation. He needs sustenance. Of course, he rests and sleeps. So, now, you think the Prophet Muhammad SAW have godly characteristic? No, he don't have. Therefore, he's a creation. Just how somebody mentioned to me about Buddha. Someone say, right? Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. That's right. Not for your information first. We have two group of people. Theravada or Hinayana Buddhists, they do not worship Buddha. They will treat Buddha as a teacher. Right? Mahayana, they will worship Buddha. I do not know in Japanese Buddhism which category. I think mostly are Mahayana, mostly on worshipping. Okay? Now, let's have a look. Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. Is he ever living? He was born 2,500 years ago. He already passed away. Is he ever living? No. Therefore, he falls to the category of creation. Does he have beginning, ending? Yes, he's born and he died. What about bounded by time? Is he bounded by time, space, and mass? He lived in this earth until the age of 80. Therefore, he's bounded by time. What about sustenance? Do you think that he needs sustenance? You know, he have a special bowl that he will go house to house to ask for food. He eat and he drink. He needs sustenance and he rests and sleep. So, you think Siddhartha Gautama Buddha have the characteristic of God, the Creator? No, he don't have it. Just like Muhammad SAW. But I never deny that he's a holy person, he's a good person, he's a righteous person. Maybe he's a prophet, maybe he's a messenger. But he don't have the characteristic of God. I know all of you are waiting for this guy. Our beloved prophet, Jesus. May peace be upon him. True? Now, when you talk about Jesus, there are two stories about Jesus. One is Islam, a Quranic story about Jesus, and another one is a biblical story about Jesus. Many Christians do not know that in Islam, Quran speak about Jesus. Do you understand this? Now, in Islam, we are clear. Jesus is a human being. Okay? He's a human being. He's not ever living. He has beginning, and he will have endings. Okay? Before the end of time. And he's bounded by time. He needs sustenance. He's resting. Islamically, we have no problem. He's a creation. But in Christian world, who is Jesus? Christians believe that Jesus is the Son of God. Means Holy Trinity. The Father is God, the Son is God, the Holy Spirit is God. Okay, and this Son, Christians believe that He is God. Do you know what's the meaning of He is God? Means Jesus is Allah. Can you understand this? They believe that Jesus is Allah. When you say Jesus is God, means Jesus is Allah. So whatever they believe, we respect them. We don't go to discuss about what they believe. They believe He's Son of God, they believe He's God, go ahead. What we want to discuss is about the life of Jesus recorded in the Bible. Because you know Jesus through the Bible. You don't receive revelation direct from Jesus, right? So what about His life of Jesus according to the Bible? Now, if you read the Bible, is Jesus ever living? In the Bible, if you read Matthew, chapter number 27, verse number 46, Jesus, He died on the cross. Die, is it ever living? No, He falls into the category of creation. Does He have beginning? Matthew, chapter number 2, verse number 1, He was born in Bethlehem. He was born. Time, space, and mass. Is he bounded by time, space, and mass? He lived on earth after the age of 33. Bounded by time, space, and mass. Does it need sustenance? If you read the Bible in the Gospel of Luke, chapter number 4, verse number 1 to number 10, the Bible tells us that Jesus Christ was tempted by the devil and He fasted for 40 days. After 40 days, He was hungry. He went to look for food. He needs sustenance, right? Is he rest? Yes, he's rest and sleep. In other words, Jesus Christ, may peace be upon him, that if you look at what was recorded in the scripture, he don't have the characteristic of God. Even you put everything in this universe, I don't have time to discuss each and every one, whatever things in this universe, you put the name here, all will fall into this category. All will fall into this category. Now, which one do you like to worship? The creator or the creation? Do you like to worship creation? That's Arabic language, La ilaha illallah. Now, of course, when I explain to you this way, there is other explanation. The other side will start to tell you that no, Jesus Christ, when he's God, he has the characteristic of God. You started to speak, he's God. Doesn't matter. All here is, look at the scripture, say he don't have the characteristic of God. Now, the first part that you can discuss with them is this one. The rest, you have to come to attend courses so that I'll be able to explain to you how to reason, how to reply, how to refute when they give different arguments. Okay? Wallahu a'lam. Any other questions? Guy?
Yes. Zoom. In fact, I would ask about if the people isn't interested in knowledge, and is there any topic competition can be accepted by both intellectual and ordinary people?
Okay, if the person not interested even knowledge, okay, what your job is to do is, most of the time when people not interested about knowledge, not interested about religion, it's the problem of conscience. You know, problem of conscience? Fitrah. Problem of fitrah. And this fitrah has been corrupted. So your job is, when fitrah is corrupted, don't talk about religion, don't talk about knowledge, and continue to be friend with him. Continue to be friend. Why? Wait for the right time. Because once a person's conscience is corrupted, you can't help them at that time. Because they are young, handsome, rich, famous. They can talk. You talk about religion, I'm not interested. Talk about knowledge, I'm not interested. It doesn't matter. Your job is to maintain friendship. Wait for the right time. Why? One day, suddenly something happened to him, bankrupt. That is a good time already to talk to him. And when doctor diagnosed that he got cancer, that is a good time. That time, he won't speak like what you speak just now. No, don't talk about religion for me. Don't talk to me about knowledge. Look, all these things, he will change. You know why? When you're in bankrupt, you need help, right? We used to speak like this or not just now. You won't speak like that anymore. If you got cancer, doctor say you have 3 months to live. You know what? All these people, that time, all the wealth, all the recognition, all the title is nothing for them anymore. And people like this, you started to look for God now, started to look for solutions for their problem. And then the fitrah started to open. Then only you can discuss with them about religion, about knowledge. So sometimes we have some people that conscience has been corrupted. You can't penetrate anymore. So you need to do is to wait for the right time. And when the person falls sick or certain illness, big problem for him, now you're always with him, visit him, and make dua for him. And people like this, he will continue being friends with you. You see that you are his friend, that, you know, when I'm successful, you still with me. When I'm bankrupt, you still make friends with me. Then they will listen to what you say actually. They will trust you. So for me, da'wah, always remember, our biggest problem is we always make one huge mistake when we want to give da'wah. We went into the territory of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are here. Allah is here. In Quran, in Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse 272, Allah reminds us that our duty is to convey the message. Whether the person accept, don't accept, agree, disagree, that is not our job. The guidance is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why we have a lot of people that after they give da'wah for a few months, they got disappointed. Oh, this person, I spoke to him so many times. He already understands Islam. He can even say, La ilaha illallah, but he doesn't want to embrace Islam. So you always feel disappointed. Why? Because you went into the territory of Allah. Allah asked to remind us that your duty just to deliver the message. That's it. Guidance is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So never go into this, don't go overboard, don't go after this line. Then you will get disappointed. But the moment you remain here, your job is to convey the message. Your job is to keep finding a hikmah way to deliver the message. Don't give up. Continue, be friend. Continue, wait for the right time to deliver the message. This is our job. The person embrace or not, that is not important. It's not our issue. It's Allah's job, not our job. So this is my advice for the person who asked the question. Wallahu alam. Any other questions? Yes, bro.
So, some of the Japanese interested in Islam, and everything, but in order to, if they converted to Islam, they lose everything because they need the money here. So, like, like with their family, with goals and everything, what they like to do, and how to invest and everything. So maybe that will kind of block them from embracing Islam. So as a dai'e, we can of course talk anything, how we like suit their heart, how we should
How to explain to them?
how we like talk to them, how we deal with them.
Okay, good. Just a minute, yeah. Let me clear this one first. Just a minute, bro. Just a minute. I don't think this product is from Japan. Because the Japanese people, the moment you clean is very clean. Okay, now, do you know why? One of the things that most of the Muslims, we started wrongly when we want to guide people to Islam. You see, if someone interested to embrace Islam, sometimes because of marriage, right? Right? You immediately come here, I want to embrace Islam. We come, we do shahadah, man. We have food, get tandoori. You see, if someone come to me, want to embrace Islam because of marriage, the first thing I will tell that person, my dear brother, I would love you to embrace Islam, but I will be happy that if you come and learn the religion first. Don't rush. You don't need to rush. Come and learn first. Why? If you don't learn about the religion, if you do not know about the religion, you know what happened? It's not fair to you and to your future wife. Why? Because if you don't learn and practice the religion, how are you going to build a family? Your wife doing the prayer, you're not praying. Your wife is fasting, you're not fasting. Your wife reading Quran, you're not reading Quran. What about if you have children? The children depends on the father. Daddy, how to pray? I don't even know how to pray. Do you think it's fair to your wife and children? What will happen if you have friction among you and your wife? Where do you find solution? Using your brain or you follow the Quran and Sunnah guidance? What about if you divorce? Do you think that you will be responsible to pay the nafkah for your children? What about Ramadan? Your wife will bring you home, right? To your in-law house. Everyone are fasting. You didn't fast. Everyone pray 5 times a day. You didn't pray. Everyone do their tarawih. You didn't perform tarawih. What will happen? The whole family will talk about you. And you heard about it. How do you feel? Next year, you will tell your wife, you go ahead. I have an appointment. Every year you have an appointment. You won't go back anymore because you don't feel comfortable. You don't feel that you're part of the family. Then it won't be good for you. So I will encourage you, at least you both come for my class for 10 classes. Usually you have to come for my 10 classes class. I think our brother and sister, ask them, they attended my class, okay, before they embrace Islam. Ask him. I never ask him or push him. No. Say, you are ready, you let me know. The rest all go on. So Learn about the religion first. That's number one. Number two, the approach that we use. You remember, the Quran was revealed to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Initially, was revealed in, is it in Mecca or in Osaka? In Mecca, right? True? Okay. Later part, in Medina. Alright? Now, Quran was revealed in Mecca. Roughly how many years? Quran was revealed in Medina, how many years? Around 10 years. Right? There are two stages here, 13 and 10. Now, when the Quran was revealed in Mecca for 13 years, majority of the ayat talk about Aqidah or talk about fiqh. Let's talk about, Malaysian spelling, doesn't matter. Aqidah. You see, you Q, right? Doesn't matter. Yeah, change. All right. What is Aqidah? I use layman term for you. Okay? Layman term. If I want to build a building, a 30-story building, hotel, what do I build first? The wall or the ceiling? People come across any building, they build the ceiling first. Or they build the wall first. What do they build first? The foundation, the pillar first. True? For 13 years, Allah is building the pillar, your Aqidah, the pillar here, for 13 years. Then after their Aqidah is ready, then when they migrate to Medina, then Allah start to reveal fiqh, mean the do and don'ts. And this do and don'ts, Allah took nearly 10 years, bit by bit. Okay, just for your information, when a non-Muslim wanted to embrace Islam, is it here or here? Mecca, right? Okay, now when you want to learn about Islam, you have to talk about all the do and don'ts, leave it first, later. Don't talk first. Let them know Allah first. Let them love Allah first. Know the Prophet first. Love the Prophet first. Agree? You know, in Mecca, from year 1, 0 until 13, okay, for 13 years, 13 years in Mecca, generally Allah doesn't talk about do and don'ts. It's talk about to know Allah. True? We talk about Aqidah, Tawheed. Alright? Aqidah for 13 years. And so many companions embrace Islam in Mecca. True? Do you know that some of them are still drinking alcohol after embrace Islam? Did Allah talk about haram? Is there anywhere Allah talk about haram in Mecca? Allah doesn't make it haram. Allah doesn't speak about haram yet. Allah only educate. He said that alcohol have a little bit benefit, but more harm. And Allah speak about don't approach salat in the state of drunk. Allah is giving guidance first. Allah doesn't speak about hukum first. So Allah doesn't make it haram first. The Prophet never make it haram in Mecca. For 13 years, nothing. Now, before people embrace Islam, they don't even hear yet. You tell them, oh, alcohol is haram. What else? Taking swine is haram. Everything haram, haram, haram before people embrace Islam. No. Don't speak about all this first. Let them know Allah first. Let them build the pillar first. Once the pillar is ready, and then slowly you can talk about the do and don'ts bit by bit. Do you know when Allah make it haram, alcohol? The year 14? No. The year 15? No. The year 16? No. The year 17? When Allah reveals Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter number 5, verse number 90, then Allah make it haram, alcohol. After how many years? After 17 years. Now when people wanted to know about the religion, wanted to embrace Islam, you tell them everything haram. Are you graduated from the Haram University? I'm not saying it's halal. I'm saying that we leave it first, we talk later. It's what Allah did that. It's what the Prophet did that. But for us, we love to talk do and don'ts. Let me give an example for the Muslimah. Let's say we have one Muslimah here, embrace Islam, sister, embrace Islam. I pass this sister for them to handle. Do you know what is in their mind for this Muslimah? What is in their mind? The first thing is not Rukun Islam. It's not the pillar of Islam. It's not the article of faith. For them, it's how to write them. True? Man, hijab is the first pillar in Islam, not the Shahada. Do you know when Allah make it wajib for the women to cover yourself? You know when? Not the year 18, it's the year 19. Towards the end of the wahyu, then Allah only make it compulsory for the women to cover yourself. But for us, cover ourselves is number one. That's why a lot of people are not interested toward Islam because they find that it's too difficult. Why talk do and don'ts? You keep telling that this is haram, that is haram, this is haram, that is haram. As if I embrace Islam, I have to forgo so many things. So many things that I can't do. No, you must keep telling there's so many things you can do. Okay, just now you mentioned about, bro, your question you mentioned about, after embracing Islam, you cannot eat at home, you cannot this, you cannot that. Am I right?
Dia was like, so kenapa dia main kerja home so that dia akan buat engagement. So they went out, their friends, they cannot enjoy certain foods together, so they were like, they are believing, but I don't think I'm gonna like convert to it.
Okay, because I'm doing live, I would love to answer you or give you a way out. That's something that you never know about it. But the problem is people who listen to this live, for example, like because they are not here, they didn't tell me what they know about it. It's very difficult. Otherwise, I give you an answer. Okay, like this. So the one that I can say here, I will explain here. Can't say, let's talk later. Now, always remember Aqidah first, not Fiqh first. Okay? If you talk about Fiqh first, as if like when you build a building, you start to make the ceiling first, then you make the wall first, and once you finish, then you started to build the foundation. That's why we have a lot of people, they use do and don't approach first. That's why people run away from Islam. I'm not interested. That's why you go most of the mosques, people who go to the mosque are those people who are young people or old people. Yeah, people who are close to the grave, right? Why? Why young people are not going to the mosque? Because our approach, our fiqh, making so difficult. We like to choose the tough, the difficult opinion. But whereas you have so many good, easy opinions for them, but you purposely choose a difficult opinion. So you make things difficult. Don't you see that the Prophet said, make things easy, not difficult. Give good news, do not frighten them. But for us, we do the other way around. Give bad news, do not give good news. Frighten them. Huh? So we do not give good news to them, right? Frighten them. So this is our problem. Now, one of the things that you can do is like this. The issue is, if he embraces Islam, the parent yet to know, different approach. But if he already embraced Islam, the parents knew about it, different approach. All right? Now, one of the things that can help, particularly the reverts. Reverts, listen carefully, those who embrace Islam. Now, before I go into that, I just need to know that your understanding first. Okay? Let's say, this person embraces Islam. He go home, the parents prepare food for him. Some is halal, some is not halal. But they use the same utensil to cook. What do you think? Is it halal or haram? Using the same utensil that she cooked pork just now, after now she cooked something halal for you. For example, something which is halal. Is it acceptable?
She washed it.
Huh?
They washed it before using it.
Yeah, of course, every time you wash, right? How you wash, I do not know, lah. You're okay with it? You're okay with it? You also okay with it? What about the rest? Bro? You're Hanafi, right? You're Hanafi. Now what about the rest, bro? At the back. Come say something, man. Because if I know your thinking, it's easy for me to fit you. If I will just tell what I want to tell, it doesn't might not fit you, right? Tell me, what about the sister? Haram. Oh, see, we have haram already. Now we have halal. Now, which one? What should I do? You see, the moment you see, when you learn about Islam, the moment you started to listen to this group talk something else, this group talk something else, this scholar says something else, that scholar speaks something else, calm down first. First, you need to understand why. Don't take side. Not because of this, I like this Ustad, because he's handsome. No, in Islam, it doesn't matter if you're handsome or not handsome. We talk about facts, right? Talk about ilm. No, what I'm trying to say to you is that why she say no, why you say yes. First, you must understand that there's a hadith been mentioned in Sahih Bukhari. The hadith talk about the dog. And this hadith talk about when the dog licked the utensil, then wash the utensil once with soil, 6 times with water. Ever heard about this hadith? So now you're still saying okay, bro? You're still saying okay?
I know the hujjah.
You know the hujjah. Okay, you already learned the hujjah. Okay, that's very good. Then come to this. Come. Now, what you can help the revert is in Japan to make things easy for them. All right, is that you explain this one. This is a common people understanding, particularly Shafi'i. For Shafi'i, they hold on to this very strongly. Okay, but maybe some Maliki, Hanafi is not that, but very little, but mostly Shafi'i. Okay, so because of the hadith, for Shafi'i, if the dog licked the utensil, then you need to wash once with soil, 6 times with water. But they also do a qiyas. You know what is called qiyas? Analogy. Alcohol is haram because of it intoxicates you. Drugs is haram because it, Quran never say drugs, hadith never say drugs, but because of drugs you take the same effect that intoxicate you, right? Therefore, alcohol is haram, drug is haram as well. This is called qiyas. For Shafi'i, dog is najas, and pig or swine is also najas. So therefore, if dog need to wash once with soil, 6 times with water, swine, same thing. Do you understand this? This is for Shafi'i. When I say mazhab, means not Imam Shafi'i, the school of thought of Shafi'i. Now, so for Shafi'i, not only dog need the utensil, you need to wash, even swine, touch the utensil, you need to wash as well. 1 time with soil, 6 times with water. But for Hanafi and Hanbali, for them, the one that need to wash soil and water is only when the dog lick. Nothing to do with swine. Because the time of the Prophet, the Quran talk about swine, talk about dog. But the hadith, they do talk about dog, never talk about swine. Okay? If swine need to wash, the Prophet was mentioned in hadith. Swine and the dog licked the utensil, therefore you need to wash. Once with soil, 6 times with water. So the Prophet didn't mention about swine. Therefore, the one that need to wash is Hanafi and Hanbali. We have another one, mazhab, we call it Maliki. How many of you familiar with Maliki? Anyone of you Maliki here? Oh, one Maliki. Well, we are friends. Okay, you know, from Maliki, they use the verse in the Quran. First, you must understand for Maliki, Quran, Sunnah Mutawatir, Sunnah Ahad. The highest ranking is the Quran first. The second is Mutawatir Hadith. The third one is Ahad Hadith. For Maliki. This is Ahad Hadith. And the Quran talk about the hunting dog. The hunter will hunt other animals by using the dog, right? Will train the dog and will get the dog to hunt other animals. So the dog will bite the animal and bring it to the hunter. But when the dog bites other animals, the saliva touches the animals. That's right. But the Quran didn't talk about you need to wash soil and water. So for Maliki, this is just a recommendation. This is not fard, it's not wajib, it's just a recommendation. For Maliki, dog saliva is not najasa. It's not najis. No. So, in this situation, now you can see these three opinions, right? I'll give you another one. You know, in Shafi'i, even Imam Shafi'i alone, he himself, Imam Shafi'i, in his book, Kitab Al-Um, have you read the book, Al-Um? Jilid number 1, page number 39 and 40. Imam Shafi'i said there are two ways of cleaning it. One, he himself, Imam Shafi'i, he himself, this is mazhab. He himself said that there are two ways of cleaning it. One, using soil, one time with soil, 6 times with water. Two, second way is using something that which is more cleaner than soil and water. You want to wash? You use detergent, soap to wash it. Can you understand this? As long as you wash right. So now you have three opinions here among the school of thoughts in Ahli Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Now, which one is more practical for the reverts? Talk about reverts. I'm talking about one Muslim. I'm talking about reverts who want to embrace Islam. Okay, they face difficulty at home. Which view do you think is good for them? Yeah, if you want this one, go ahead. Okay. Don't you think the things become easy? Let's say the utensil they cook just now, they cook pork, now they wash clean. They cook egg, they fry vegetable. You can still eat at home. You take rice, take those things that you can eat, those things that you can't eat. Don't take. Your parents ask you why. You see, you read a lot of books that talk about eating meat is not good. Okay, so I prefer vegetarian. So I like to eat veggie, fish, and instead of taking meat and so on. So now you can explain to your family. What I'm trying to say is this is give you solution for the reverts. But of course, I speak general. But if you bring the person to me, I will design in such a way that suitable for the person to apply or to practice at home. So you can make things easy for them. Okay? The rest I cannot talk because of life. Otherwise, I will be in trouble. Because generally, Muslims who do not do research, okay, they only know one view. They didn't know that there are other views as well. So, to answer your question, bro.
You say that they can provide information.
Say again?
You just say what you can say just now, right now.
Yeah,
You can provide
I will be in trouble. I go back to Malaysia. You know why people will cut my talk and then it becomes something else. That is very dangerous. So yeah. So I hope you understand. But if you want me to explain, don't worry. Towards the end of the program, you are given opportunity to ask anything. We will stop this live. Then we can talk.
We only take a break. So only 1.5 hours now.
I got no problem as long as you're willing to listen.
Okay, they have one question from our group.
All right.
Say that the concept of marriage. So he finds someone interested in Islam because they see a good personality in him and desire to learn about Islam. He loved Islam because of this man or woman. Then should we guide them directly to Shahada and introduce them into Islam after marriage with them?
There are two ways here. Okay. First, recite Shahada doesn't mean the person is a Muslim. We have songs from Raihan. They can sing. A lot of non-Muslims can sing. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. That doesn't mean they are Muslim. Okay? Now, first focus on their understanding about Aqidah, about Tawheed. Whether is it clear or not. So especially we discuss about CVC. Remember tentang creator creation? The moment the person are very clear about creator and creation, he participate in the discussion, he can understand it very clear. Therefore, that is the minimum that the person can recite Shahada. Must discuss about that. That's number one. Number two, for me, it's better for the person to learn first. Okay, back at home, I will make sure that the person really come and discuss, come and learn about the deen first. Normally, after about nearly 10 classes, he will make his decision already. All right, and that time is a good time, but do not rush. But even though if you understand CVC, you can do the Shahada, no problem. But you must make sure that he come and learn first. Always tell him that Islam is not a religion that just come in or you go out. Islam is a religion of knowledge. It's just like when you embrace Islam, you just like you go to kindergarten school. All right, you need to continue to learn about the deen, because Islam means submission to the will of God. How can you submit the will of God if you don't know about the religion? If you don't understand the Quran and the Sunnah? So that's the reason why focus on guiding the person, understanding the religion, understand the deen, but not focus on Shahada first. But if the person are ready, they can Shahada anytime, no problem. Okay? So for me, I will focus on guiding the person. You know why? Once they understand the deen, they will never leave the religion anymore. That is important. Okay, so Zul, this is what I can say to answer that questions. Yeah, if you need additional input, you let me know. Any more, sister? Or guy? Oh, yeah, brother. Come. One more time.
Alhamdulillah. The knowledge which I'm gathering about Dai'e. I want to make a change in my life. The more open I go back to work, day-to-day life, news. What change can I make? What skills can I develop? Actually, do our
Okay, our brother asked, what can he do now if you want to change yourself, right? Okay, as I said earlier, number one, you need to. Number one, continue improve your knowledge about Islam. Knowledge must come first. Once your knowledge increases, number two, your iman increase. True or not true? Once your understanding increase, your iman increase. When your iman increase, your amal will automatically take place. So that's the first thing. Number two, what you need to do is you need to learn how to present Islam to non-Muslim. You need to learn technique, how to start the conversation, how to lead them into discussion, when to stop. The moment you find that their body language, they are not ready, they are not comfortable, talk something else. You must know how to guide them into the discussion. Learn the technique. Learn how to answer questions. I would say not just answering question, but you must have proper structure of answering question that convince a non-Muslim. Meaning your answer has to be universal. If you focus on answering question, not focus on universal problem, you know why? That answer is suitable for the Muslim and not suitable to the non-Muslim. Let me give you an example. If I were to ask you, prove to me your God exists. How should you answer? Common answer, Ustaz will say what to you? Look at the universe. Right? But if you ask Christian, prove to me that your God exists. Christian will say, look at the universe. You ask the rest of the religion, they will say the same thing. Look at the universe. Now, do you think that this answer is universal? No. You can only convince the Muslim, but you cannot convince the non-Muslim. So you have to have an answer that which convince all. Muslim, non-Muslim, because that answer is universal answer. Remember I talked about the expanding of universes now? The scientific discovery, that is universal. Everyone can accept because it's not from my religion, it's not from your religion, it's from the scientific discovery. It's from the scientists. Can you understand this? So you have to learn how to convince them. For those people who don't believe in God, this is the approach you need to memorize. For those people who believe in A God, this is what you need to know. How to present, how to deal. B, C, D, you need to remember. You need to understand the belief, the approach you use, and how to reason with them in the best way. Hikmah way. Not debate, sharing. So the things that you need to learn. And of course, there are ways that you can give da'wah. For example, sometimes I believe that many of us are afraid of talk about religion, right? You're afraid of losing a friend. Sometimes do you? Yeah, you do, right? So what you need to do is like this. Next time, if I were to come here, all right, you make kenduri at your house. Or you know kenduri? Eating party. Not drinking party and just eating party. Okay, what you need to do is you invite a non-Muslim to come and eat. Okay, then you invite me to your house. Then you introduce them to me. Right? And then you make yourself busy in the kitchen. Don't come out. Okay? Even when you have to come up here for a while, you send the food, you go back to the kitchen. Sorry, I'm busy preparing something. Just relax for yourself. So I will talk on behalf of you. Don't you think that now you can solve your problem? Just now you said that you're afraid to talk to them about Islam. Now you're using me to talk for you. Is it easy now? They cannot get upset with you because I'm your guest. He also your guest. So I talk to them. So indirectly we deliver the message. It's just like if you're a teacher. If I'm a teacher, I'll put all the religious scripture on my table. The rest of the teacher, hey, Lim, I thought you're a Muslim. Why you have Buddhist scripture? Why you have Christian scripture? Why you have Baha'i scripture? Why you have so many scripture? I wanted to ask questions. You know why? Because no demand, don't supply. I use this technique is to demand for make sure that they ask me questions. Then what I say, you see all this scripture, there's so many good teaching from the book. Do you think they will get upset with me? No. I thought you're a Christian, right? You know so many good teaching in the Bible. For example, in the Gospel of Mark, chapter number 12, verse 29, Jesus Christ said, Shema Israel, Adonai Ilahayun, Adonai Ihad. You see, hear all Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And it's beautiful teaching from Jesus Christ. And we continue to read the verse, at verse 34. Jesus Christ said, if you hold on to this view, you're not far away from the kingdom of heaven. Hold on to this view. Wow. Man, this is excellent teaching. Do you think the Christian will get upset with you? You say, beautiful teaching, excellent teaching, I love it. And I follow what Jesus said. Don't you think that you are indirectly telling them that follow what Jesus said? Not watch what church tell you. Follow what Jesus Christ said in the Bible. Jesus Christ said, hold on to this view. You're not far away from the kingdom of heaven. So can you see this? So there are various ways you can start. All right? I can continue to give you an example if you want. Just let me know. You want to know? Afterwards, okay. Otherwise, I will continue talk because there are so many ideas that you can actually pick it up, use it when it's needed. Okay, we'll take a short break. Ada soalan? Ada offline lah? Dah off, you mean dah off ah?
Yes.
If yours is off, then we can talk something interesting. Okay. Anyone want to ask questions? Always remember, if you guide the rewards, a non-Muslim, if they face difficulties, you do not know what answer to give.